Alright. I think right now we are currently watching Michael Jordan reincarnated in the OKC jersey wearing number 2. I don't think it's that crazy of a hot take. Welcome to the channel. If you didn't click off so far of that crazy hot take that I made, or not even crazy hot take, because I don't think it's a hot take, that crazy take I made, welcome. I appreciate you for joining, staying in. My name is Bean. I love hoops. I love talking hoops. And I'm here to go ahead and really just talk about it. And it's my favorite team too. Haven't really spoken about my favorite team too often so far this year, being the OKC Thunder, and Shai being my favorite player in the league because I'm my favorite team, luckily. Thank you, PG. Thank you, Sabonis and VO too. Without them two, we wouldn't have gone PG. So what I'm saying at the beginning was not no type of clickbait, was nothing to try to keep you in or anything of the sort. I really do believe this, and I've been believing this for about maybe a year or 2 years now, but this year I really solidified it. I think we're really watching modern Michael Jordan in the flesh. His numbers back it up. His impact backs it up. His game backs it up. It's just a modern version. Folks are saying Kobe. Folks are saying Jordan. He is the later stage of both of those players. There's a little less lack of athleticism in terms of verticality, in terms of highlights from dunking, in terms of maybe a sort of a flashiness from posters. He does not get that too often, but he will get is those mid ranges, those step backs, everything of the sort. Tonight we just seen him go ahead and walk down the Detroit Cruise. I know they didn't have K, they didn't have Duran, they had to have Beef Stew. They did not have 3 of their starter players. The only starter that they had was Asar Thompson. And prompts out to B-Ball Paul, to Dennis Jenkins, Asar Thompson, even Ron Holland from a defensive standpoint, and Kevin Huerter for that corner 3. They went ahead and had played a pretty good game, and just the rest of the team, but they played a pretty good game, being shorthanded, which sucks for them because their star player has been on. They've been having a good year, but sometimes it just happens to be what it is. So shout out them, even going to overtime against the defending champs, though again shorthanded too on their end, losing iHeart and J-Dub. Went to overtime. Shai walked them down all the fourth quarter. Had the game-winning shot that went ahead and had got overturned because of an offensive call, which low-key what happened to the game that I love, because we would not have done that same thing for Steph Curry. Oh, snap. Imagine this right here, y'all. Steph Curry, bang, bang, hits the 3. Hold up. Moving screen on Draymond Green. The shot gets overturned. We go to overtime. Imagine that happen. That's not happening. Jordan push off. Jordan game winner against Jet. They not calling those. I know it's not playoff. We're not calling those. He's going in the same direction anyway. Everybody loves to talk about and criticize this man's game from a foul baiting perspective, and which I understand, and I completely get. His game is still fantastic to watch. His game is smooth to watch. His game is lovely to watch. I love watching this man's game, especially when the shots are going down, which they seem to be going down all the time for real. It's a real joy to watch, and it's something really great to watch. Something that I thought about whenever getting here was we are so quick to anoint somebody the best in the world, right? Oh, well, we're against anointing somebody the best in the world, but at the same time so quick to do so, right? Because it had taken Shai 3 years to become the best player in the world. He's been the first seed for 3 years in a row so far, at least currently right now on the date of March 31st. The Thunder are still the first seed. They've been the first seed for 3 years in a row. Arguably 3 years of MVP level play, but if we're going to be really 2 years, if we're going to be really technical with terms of winning everything, 2 years of MVP play, and he's been doing this consistently. I know people online talk about that it's really a short rise, but no, he's been doing this for about 4 to 5 years now of averaging 30 plus points. As the efficiency just gets better, the game just gets better. I would have thought last year would have been, I'll be honest with you, as a Thunder fan 3 years ago, I would have thought that would have been peak Shai. That would have been almost the best that he would have been at. Then the next year, he went ahead and topped that. I said, there's no way that he really did that. And then I thought that might have been his peak version. And then he topped it again this year too. The team's success may not be the same, but it's because of injuries. That's the thing. They're the second most injured team. And the one thing that really that really remains consistent is him, his play. He's going to be the, in my vote, if I had one, would be the MVP bias for sure. But at the same time, I'm watching the game. He would be the MVP for me and clutch player of the year, because both of those things really go hand in hand. He's been the clutchest player in the league, undoubtedly. He's come time to time again. This Thunder team is not an offensive team, sadly. And we're going to get into the numbers after that. But sadly, they're not an offensive team. And down the stretch, sometimes our offense really varies. Defensively, though, they're right. But defense could sometimes only carry you so far if you don't get a rebound, which the Thunder tends to have sometimes problems with that. But something that remains consistent is Shai's going to walk down whatever team that he needs to walk down. And he's going to get him a bucket regardless if it's going to be from the line, if it's going to be from the 2, if it's going to be from the 3, regardless of what it is. No matter what spot on the court, he now became unguardable at any spot on the floor. And you could not have said that last year, and you could not have said that 2 years before him. He's only had gotten better, and his game has only had been refined. He is improved as a passer. He is improved as a shot maker, which is crazy to say again from last year. He is improved as I believe as more of a help defender. He's always been a pretty good help defender. But I think overall his game has just improved and had just gone better. And to the point I was saying, it had taken Shai three-ish years to be acquainted, and not even fully to people, the best player in the league. The league is very talented, which is a blessing. That this league is very talented, where people could argue the best player in the league being multiple different players. Some players are more extreme than others, of course, but you could make an argument for either or. And it also is really at this point of the NBA discourse, it really has became a lot of depending on what you like and what you want out of the best player in the league. Because Jokic had been the best player in the league for some years now, with him being a lackluster defender, that I would say. He's not the worst defender, but he's a lackluster defender in a position that is very defensive heavy. But to make up for that, he became one of the greatest offensive players of all time. So, what's the trade-off? He won the MVPs, he won championship, so he gets annoyed at that, and that's completely fine. Shai goes ahead and wins himself an MVP and a championship and a scoring title all last year, and was not annoyed at arguably the best player in the league. Universally, for the most part, folks was I'd probably say maybe 80-20 was annoyed at Shai as the best player in the league. I had a conversation with my friend a couple weeks after the championships. I'm saying there would never be a guard that would be the best player in the league, because we're watching the best guard since Steph Curry. Right now, currently. We're watching the best guard since Steph Curry. And it's because this guard is the closest thing to Michael Jordan. My questioning to y'all and everything is that it took Shai 3 years to be annoyed as one of the best players in the league, or the best player in the league, and it's still arguable. And it taken Wemby 1. Now Wemby's an alien, and what I'm about to say is no shot to Wemby or no slander to Wemby, because Wemby is a top 5 player in the league. Are we quicker to anoint the best player in the league because we haven't seen this player? We haven't seen Wemby ever. He's an alien. We never have seen a Wemby type of player ever in the league ever. So it would make sense why we'd be so quick to anoint him as the best player in the league. We never seen this before. It's kind of quick to easy to say Jokic is the best player in the league, because we never seen a player, especially at that position, be such an offensively gifted player where his efficiency is through the roof from all 3 levels, and his playmaking is on another level. The best playmaking center ever to have ever played the game. And those things are first time things. We talk about Braun beforehand. Braun has never a guard that could not a guard, he plays like a guard, but a forward that could really play almost all 5 positions, who could go ahead and score from pretty much all 3 levels, who's a great playmaker and a great defender. To an extent, Braun was quicker to get annoyed as the best player in the league. Now, we did have a Kobe Bryant to go ahead and take a little bit of time, but those type of players are players that we've never seen before. We've seen Shai before. And whatever game his game eventually keeps continuously evolving, because the best thing about this, he's only getting better. This season really proved to me he's going to be one of the all-time greats of all time. Last year proved that, but this year just reinforced that thought, because it's only going to get better because of just time and consistency. He's gonna age like Kevin Durant. Like KD is 39, 38 years old, playing at a great level, being very efficient. He's efficient. He's efficiency man. Whether it's good or bad, he's an efficiency man. And Shai kind of comes from that same cloth. He's only going to get better with knowing his spots even more and more and more, and it's only going to get deadlier. He's at his prime right now, but I wouldn't be surprised he continues to get better over time. So what I'm really trying to say is, we've seen this archetype of player before. We've been looking for this archetype of player before. We've called people Maple Jordan before, the closest thing to Jordan, the closest thing to Kobe. Devin Booker was annoyed at Kobe. Andrew Wiggins was Maple Jordan for some reason. R.J. Barrett is like Maple Kobe or anything like that. You know, we have anointed these players Kobe-like and Jordan-like, and they play similar game from a Devin Booker perspective of a mid-range and just being an all-time, like not all-time, but a great offensive guard. And then players like R.J. Barrett and Andrew Wiggins have an athleticism, defense, and the potential to be that if they could ever get that shot down more consistently. Who would have thought that this man, who was drafted by the Charlotte Hornets, 2018 11th overall pick, would become the man to who he is today? Nobody would have thought that he's the closest. Nobody would have thought on draft day you would have told him or told anybody this guard right here is about to be the closest thing to Jordan and Kobe we'll ever see. And that's why we don't anoint him as the greatest player in the league, or hasn't already been almost dang near unanimous. Because again, there's been great players in the league and it's a blessing, but Giannis was around the same time as Jokic. Giannis is not an anomaly, but just as good of a player that Jokic is. And same thing vice versa with Jokic and Shai and Wemby and even like a Luka of some sort. We've seen this game before, and so we're not amused by it because we've seen it before. And it sucks because I could guarantee, especially Adam Silver, you had also ruined the game that I love by saying you're pushing out and saying the NBA is a highlight league, and I agree with you. I wholeheartedly agree with you. But at the same time, there's so much context that you miss with just highlights. It does not help the product or help the players that you're trying to push even more. Wemby's a highlight machine. Jokic is a highlight machine. Shai is too, but you gotta watch the game because at some point the hate just overshadows what the game is. If Jordan was played in this game now or in this era now, right, Jordan would not be the best player in the league. He wouldn't be. Factually, he just would not be. Because why would you say that Jordan is the best player in the league but Shai isn't? I know that sounds crazy, but it's because the PRA. It's because of things of that type of nature. It's because of the free throw when Jordan was still getting to the line like that. And it makes sense because the spacing is a lot condensed. Especially in the mid 80s and in the early 90s and throughout the 90s, the spacing, of course, is completely different. It's completely different. We all know that. But at the same time, it's not like this Thunder team is the 2017 Warriors. You know, it's not like this Thunder team is even an above average 3-point shooting team dang near for real. Because there's times and there's games. Game 4 of the NBA Finals last year, he went ahead and walked down the Pacers in Game 4 of the NBA Finals with this team only making 3 or 4 threes a game. And one of them being his in that fourth quarter with 5 minutes left. There's no way a team wins in 2026 only making 3 or 4 threes. That's a 90s, 80s, 70s, 60s, even maybe too early 2000s stat. There's no way you do that. And you know, shout out my guy Lou Dort. Because as a Thunder fan, of course I'd be on Thunder Twitter, and I do see as a fan base, I do understand some of the hate that we can get. I do understand the hate that Lou Dort gets. Do I fully understand? Not necessarily. Well, I understand it. Do I agree with it? Not necessarily. Because I believe there are indeed slightly more dirtier players in the league, just slightly a bit more, and I think it's a little egregious, and it's only because he's on the best team in the league. But what I wanted to bring up was this right here. This is two of Shai's starters that start out the game. And recently haven't closed out games too often, and that will be something I will talk about in a second. The Thunder team spacing is not like he's playing for. If Shai was playing for the Hornets, his numbers would be even crazier, which is crazy to say. Well, I believe it might be a little bit more. It might be a little more crazier, at least offensively, because of the amount of spacing. You throw somebody aside of a Brandon Miller and a Kneppel type of shooter. We have no shooter like Kneppel. Be honest with you, we just don't have no shooter like Kneppel. Is one of the best shooters in the league, and is having the best rookie shooting ever. You throw Con next to Shai, and then you have to hug that defender. That defender has to hug. It is completely different, and this is why I say people got to watch the game, because people say this team is a super team, and I don't. This team is very good. This team is constructed very well, and it plays for its identity of defense, but its offense is lackluster. I'm starting to believe there's not really too much of a thing called 3-and-D. 3-and-D players are not too much of a thing, because it's either they're good at defense or they're good at three-point shooting. And what I mean by good is consistently. Lu Dort was a good three-point shooter last year, not this year. Consistency, that's what it is. Consistency is what makes you good. Consistency is what makes you great. Lu Dort's great at defense. He's always going to be good at defense. Consistently, he will be good at defense. He's not a 3-and-D player no more. Last year, you could argue that. This year, you're not. Cason Wallace, right here at the bottom of the show, Cason Wallace will always be a great defensive player. Offensively, he's lackluster from the three-point shot. And these are two players that he start with alongside. And last year, honestly, closed games out, which is kind of crazy / funny that he was able to win games like that. But it's because Lu Dort and Cason Wallace that actually shot pretty good last year. If they actually were good three-point shooters, or at least above average three-point shooters, this team would be a super team. But they're not. Some of their two best defenders, POA defenders, cannot go ahead and make shots. Golly, bro. I'm looking at this three-point shot and three-point frequency. It's terrible. You're telling me y'all attempt 3 more threes whenever Cason and Lou is off the floor, and it arguably makes sense because you're subbing that in for Isaiah Joe, Kenrich Williams, Isaiah Joe, Jared McCain, Caruso, even arguably Wiggins or anything. Shai has always played with the least what's the right word? Talented offensive players. That's the best way I could word it. Shai plays with Cason Wallace and Lu Dort a lot because they can't score, so he makes up for it. While we haven't seen too much J-Dub, but J-Dub, Chet tends to play with Isaiah Joe, Jared McCain, and AJ Mitchell for the reason of it's just a more complete offensive lineup with those two players, 2-star players, and Chet and J-Dub not being the most consistent offensive player. Shai, you know what you're going to get. Shai's consistently going to do that regardless of whoever's in the lineup. Whoever's in the lineup will be. That's why we haven't seen Lu Dort close out games recently. And that's why Cason Wallace haven't been closing out too many games recently, because you're going to hug off of them. He's the best clutch player in the league. He's the best clutch player in the league. There's like, to me, there's no ifs, ands, buts about it. It's amazing to see how he became this offensive player, and especially this clutch type of player. I might have told this story multiple times on the channel. I might have not, because I haven't had too many channels on here, too many videos on here. I remember exactly where I was at when I first realized that this player is on this caliber of he could be an all-time great. I was in a McDonald's going home from work. This was probably 2022, maybe. This was the year that they made the play-in, I believe. It was against the Portland Trail Blazers. I believe it was at home. Justice Winslow, it was a baseline game winner on the left side. He gets the ball, goes ahead and shakes Justice Winslow off of him, rises up, makes it. I was in the McDonald's drive-thru where I was just about to get my food. I knew he was gonna make that. I don't know how many teams have that. That you know that guy can make that shot. There's not too many teams that have that and that is willing to take the shot. Because Jokic is willing to take that shot, right? Well, Jokic is that type of caliber of that player. But is Jokic always willing to take that shot? Not exactly. Jokic will pass that shot off. Jokic will go ahead and make the best play, make the correct play. But he may not take the shot every single time. Kevin Durant will take that shot. LeBron James may not take that shot. Luka's definitely going to take that shot. Because we've seen that. You know, I'm not saying one is not clutch or not because they will make the right play. But it's about the confidence in the shot being made or knowing that they're going to take that shot. This man right here is the modern Michael Jordan. And I'm tired of the disrespect. I can't believe that people have not opened their eyes or opened their mind to believing that this can be. Because my hot take now, I say this to the end of my video, y'all watch more Shai Gilgeous-Alexander than y'all have watched Michael Jordan. Y'all actually have not watched Michael Jordan play basketball. I'll be honest with you. That's just the truth of it. Y'all actually have not watched Michael Jordan. We in 2026. People that's watching this now are kids that was born either in the 2010s or the late 2000s. Y'all haven't tapped in. Y'all actually haven't tapped in to watch Michael Jordan play. So y'all don't know who Michael Jordan really is. And I'm telling you, Shai's the closest thing to it. It's just a bit of it. I'm just being honest with y'all. I love y'all. Peace. I'll see you on the next video. I just wanted to talk about my team. Shout out to Detroit Pistons again. Shout out the rest of the team. It's going to be scary in the playoffs because we don't know about the offense consistency. But, you know, we got one man. Not one man is going to get it. All right. I love you. Peace. All right. Gotcha.